Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight I'm out at Nambung National Park. It's about 200 kilometers north of Perth. I was going to say it's late, but it's actually early. It's just gone midnight. So just got here and having a bit of a scout around. There's quite a few people around at the moment. I think some of them are photographers. I think some are just tourists that have come out to have a bit of a look around and check out this place, which is fair enough. It is pretty spectacular. During the day, especially at sunrise and sunset, it can be quite nice, especially when you've got long shadows and you've got some nice golden lights that are hitting the pinnacles. They can give some nice textures and things like that. So it is quite spectacular. But nighttime, it's a little bit more eerie. So this is the kind of thing that we're looking at. You can see some of the pinnacles over here. You can see some of the bigger ones down this way. And I'm going to go down there and have a bit of a look and see if I can pick up some nice foregrounds. So thanks to Dave for doing the makeshift lighting. That's a lot better than me trying to hold my torch and shine it in my face. Dave and I are just out here, just scouting around for a couple of foregrounds. I'm trying to find a spot where I can set up a camera to do a time-lapse. There's a bit more cloud in the sky than I was expecting from the south, so any time-lapse that I do will be fine, but I won't be able to use those same files to do any star trails, which is a bit unfortunate because I quite enjoy doing those. But I'm still going to have a go at setting up a time-lapse. I've got the platypod with me, so my plan is to get the camera down really low and then shoot up towards the pinnacle and then have the stars in the sky in the background. So here it is set up now. I've got it in front of one pinnacle. I am hoping that is set up south, but it is pretty hard to try and find something that's going to be sailing directly under the south celestial pole. Hopefully the clouds move away and I can actually use these for some star trails as well as for a time-lapse. I'm going to let this run probably for about 3-4 hours. It might actually be the last camera that I pick up just before we go. I have got settings of 15 seconds with a 2-second interval between them. And the ISO is set to 800, and yeah, so it'll just sit here and just tick along as long as that battery's going to last. And yeah, hopefully the camera is still here by the time I come back. Like I said, there's quite a few people around. I'm sure nobody's going to touch it, but it does make me a little bit nervous anyway, but that's probably just me. The next step is to go away and try and find some foregrounds. One of the more difficult things about shooting at the pinnacles is they all pretty much look the same. There are some bigger ones, some small ones. It's difficult to find a good foreground. What I'm thinking is either a set of 2 where I can shoot the Milky Way between them, or maybe a series of 3, like one after another going into the background. So I'm going to have a bit of a scout around and see what I can find. I'm out here with Dave. We're still scouting around. I left one camera out in the pinnacle somewhere. Hopefully I can find that a bit later. And that's doing the time-lapse. Yeah, we're still doing a bit of a scout. What are you thinking about doing?
I'm just happy to be out here at the moment looking at the stars and just going to see what happens. Really, I've got no plans, just I'll find out.
Fair enough. Sometimes that's the best way.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'm going to keep looking around. Back in 1650, when Dutch explorers first found this place, they actually thought it was the remains of a lost city, which I can understand given the way it looks during the day. It does look like there's lots of structures that are around, and it could well be the remains of a lost civilization. The Noongar people, who are the First Nations people from this area, actually had this as a special area. It was treated as a special place for women. They could come here, they could have ceremonies, they could give birth, they could maybe forage for food and that kind of thing. And there's a little bit more of a story behind where these pinnacles came from the First Nations history, which I'll go into a little bit later. Okay, so I've also bumped into Greg while I've been out here. Greg's still out having a little bit of a look around for some compositions as well, but unlike us, who are a bit lazy, Greg's been here for a significant amount of time before us.
Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment. I got here about 4 o'clock this afternoon and managed to shoot some the sunset.
Nice.
And little bit of the moon.
And Basil, all the people are coming around with their car lights on.
Yeah, it's a pretty busy spot nowadays. Don't come here expecting that you're walking into a pristine dark sky location anymore.
Yeah, I would say, I think it's been about 3 years since I've been here. And it's definitely got a lot busier. I mean, it was busy before, but yeah, there's definitely more cars, especially given that it's 1 o'clock in the morning. There's still people rocking up. And there's still plenty of cars traveling around.
It's very popular with tourists, and tourists seem to enjoy coming here at night. It looks like another car's coming through. Because what is the time now? Just a bit after 1. So, yep, seems like it's a 24/7 place.
Yes. Yeah, fair enough. All right, I'm going to keep looking around. But yeah.
Good luck.
All right, thank you. You too.
I'll bump into you somewhere.
I'm sure. So this is part of the issue with having so many people around. We've got somebody going past, and which is fair enough, but they've got their taillights on, and that's going to impact the lighting for any photos I'm going to take. I did think that maybe we could use that, or I could use that. So I've taken a shot with the red glow from the taillights, and I've added a little bit of extra light just to see how it was going to go. So it might be a little bit interesting. It's only a foreground shot, so I'm going to be doing some tracked shots a little bit later on. So I am just doing the foreground shots, and this was a interesting composition. This is the kind of thing that I was looking at. It's got the 3 pinnacles standing next to each other, and 1 in the front and two behind it. So I thought this might make an interesting foreground. And just as I was about to take a picture, the car went past, so I thought maybe I could use that. So here's the image. It may turn out okay, it may not, but it will at least be a little bit interesting. I have this set of pinnacles all set up. They're all bunched together, so it looks like it could be quite nice together. I'm going to add some light painting just to bring out some of the depth in the pinnacles. I'm going to stand over to the left-hand side and then shine my torch across the pinnacles. So given that it's because it's at an angle, it should bring out some of the extra depth in the pinnacles themselves. For this foreground, I'm thinking it's 13 seconds. I've got f1.4 and ISO 500. I've added a 2-second delay just to try and give me enough time to get into position. So let's give this a try, which is not too bad. I definitely need to be doing a few more of those, but I quite like the light coming from the side, especially just down at the front. That front rock has got some nice depth to it, I think. So I'm going to do this a few more times, and I'll focus on this different part of the pinnacles each time. I'm guessing maybe another 3 times to get this right. I'll get it the way I want to. Yep, that's good. Okay, I'm going to try that again. Okay, and I think one more time I'm going to focus more on the rocks at the back this time. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty much good, all the rocks that I need to, all the pinnacles. So I'm going to put that together, and I'll show you the foregrounds, and then I will show the Milky Way when I add the track shot and on top of that. I have already said that there was a bit more of a story behind the pinnacles. This is a sacred site for Aboriginal women, and the story behind that is that maybe there were some men who wanted to find out what was going on, so they would come down here and spy on the women. Now the spirits didn't like that, so they buried them in the sand, and then over time they turned into the pinnacles. Now, I said I was looking for a number of different compositions this evening. One of the ones was a group of pinnacles, maybe in a group of 3, especially with, I was hoping to get one and then another one behind it and then another one behind that, so I can get some depth with 3 pinnacles. Generally, the rule that I've gone with, and I think I've heard this from other people as well, that odd number of items or subjects or objects in a frame are probably better than the even number of items in a image. So that's why I was looking at 3. I'm about to break that rule. The other one that I was looking at was having 2 pinnacles around about the same size, and maybe try and shoot the Milky Way through the middle of them. Now, I have found some pinnacles that kind of look what I was expecting, what I was hoping for. So I'm going to set up another composition here and see how that goes. Okay, so this is the scene that I was hoping to set up. As I mentioned before, I was looking for a scene where I could have maybe 2 pinnacles of around about the same size, and hopefully standing side by side with enough space to try and capture the Milky Way in between. Now, these 2 pinnacles have this kind of setup. Took me a little bit of time to find this, but turns out they were pretty much right behind me the whole time. Now, I've got a light off to the side. You can see how it's lit up a little bit differently. I'll just turn off my head torch. I'm going to try and take this shot. I might have to adjust where the light goes a little bit. I might actually even take a couple of shots with the light in different places, and maybe use that as a little bit of light painting when I come to do the edit. So if I've got light from different angles, I can maybe add that in later on. So this is the shot. So I'm going to be looking at 13 seconds, f1.4 and ISO 100. I'll just take that shot. So that's what the image looks like. I'm not a big fan of how messy the ground is, but there's not a lot you can do that. And I am actually going to try and move the light behind, well, a little bit behind the pinnacle. So I've just moved the lights. I am going to increase the exposure time a little bit because the light is a fair bit further away. Let's see how this goes. Oh, much nicer. You can actually see the Milky Way behind it. It's a bit out of focus. So I think I'm just going to move the camera a little bit further around to where the Milky Way actually will be between these 2 pinnacles. And I will try that again. Oh, that's really nice. That's pretty close to what I was hoping to be able to get. I could actually even move closer to the pinnacle. So this is the scene as it stands now. I think this will be my final setup for this composition. I've just moved the camera a little bit closer. I've got the lighting in the exact same position, but I think being a little bit closer to the pinnacles will allow me to fit the Milky Way in a little bit better. I am looking through the pinnacles right now, and I can see the outline of the Milky Way sitting behind it. So once I've taken the shot, I'll be starting to look at setting up my tracker to get some tracked images, and I will do one of just the Milky Way as it is, pretty much as it stands there, and that's what I'll be using for the sky shot. So 25 seconds, f1.4 and ISO 500. And that has turned out to be pretty much what I was expecting. So that I'm really happy with that. Not happy so much with all the mess on the ground, but in terms of where the pinnacles are and having the Milky Way in between them, that's turned out really good, I think. So I've got the tracker set up now. Everything seems to be aligned okay. I've had a bit of a test shot just to make sure that it was all aligned. So the tracker itself is aligned south, so it will track the rotation of the Earth in the opposite direction to keep everything aligned. I've then got the my geared head on top of that. I've got a Z mount as well, just to make sure that everything is as flat as I can. And then the camera on top, I've got the R6. It's got a 20mm f1.4 lens on top of that. If you want to see more about that lens, check out another video of mine where I did a bit of a review for some Astro. Spoiler alert, it's been pretty good so far. And on top of that, I got my myops, which I use for exposures longer than 30 seconds. Given that I've already got some foregrounds, I'm going to start taking some track shots of the Milky Way. It's 3:30. got about an hour left before the Milky Way gets washed out with the sun coming up. So this will be hopefully some quick tracked shots. I've got a track shot to take of the Milky Way. I'm going to do one with a landscape exposure, one with a portrait exposure, and then I'm going to try and do a panoramic of probably about 5 images. That's what I'm going to be doing next. Well, that's the panoramic done, that's the landscape Milky Way shot done, and that's the vertical Milky Way shot done. So the panoramics still make me feel a bit nervous. I think it looks okay, but I'm not going to know if that stitch is okay until I get it into Photoshop or Microsoft Ice, which is what I use to bring all the images together in the single Pano shot. So yeah, that still makes me a bit nervous. Hopefully that's worked okay. I'm going to stitch that together, and I'll put that up now. Okay, well, hopefully that Pano is stitched okay. Still a bit nervous about that one. I've taken a couple of other shots. I've managed to get a shot of my car too, because hey, why not? And I'm just going to go and pick up well, I'm not going to go and pick it up straight away. I'm going to have to try and find it first, but I'm going to go and find my other camera and see how that time-lapse worked. Assuming that that's worked okay, and I can actually find the camera, here's the time-lapse. So that's it for tonight. The sun is starting to come up, and yeah, we've got a bit of a drive to get home. So yeah, we're going to call it a night. It's been pretty successful, I think. Barrett, how do you think you've gone?
Yeah, I went a lot. Did 4-minute exposure on my tracking shots, and they're coming quite good. Yeah,
yeah, nice.
4-minute exposures.
Yeah.
Wow.
You were showing me. It's like pin sharp. It looked really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. How about yourself, Greg?
Yep. Good night. I started off with sunset and just pushed on through. I don't know what happened. I wasn't going to stay here tonight. Something happened.
You realise it's Monday now. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm happy with my shots. So, but the proof will be in the pudding when we have a look on the computer.
Yeah, brilliant. And Dave, how did you go?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It's actually been a while since I've been out, so it's good to get out and see the stars. It's really nice.
Yeah. Oh, look.
Dave, I started doing a bit of this and a bit of that.
Yeah. There's a few action shots going on, so really curious to see how they're going.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Look forward to that.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys. It's been a great night. So thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, see you guys.
Okay, that's it for tonight. Been a really good night. The wind has been on and off, and it's picked up again. And there's definitely a bit of a chill in the wind. So, yeah, it's a good time to be packing up. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you out there next time. Don't forget to keep watching. There'll be a few extra images at the end of the video. Cheers. Thanks. Gotta stop saying
Shine a light on you.
I brought the what do I call it? I hate this. I go completely blank. The platypod. Yeah. Tonight I'm out at Nambung